Hello YouTube and welcome back. In this video, I would like to talk about my 2017 Honda Pilot EX-L. This is a vehicle that we have owned for more than 2.5 years, put on about 33,000 miles on it. There's a lot of happy miles and we've been through a lot of places. We did a little bit of off-road, camping, going on the beach, driving on the beach, fishing, and as well as of course going up to the mountain to go skiing. And we also did quite a bit of towing as well. We have a boat and a trailer that we use to haul stuff. So I think we are at a good point where I can give you guys a long-term ownership review and feedbacks about this vehicle. Hopefully it'll give you some insightful information regarding to if you want to buy something in this class, a mid-size SUV. So let's get started. Prior to the Pilot, we owned a 2007 Honda Odyssey minivan for 10 years, put 160,000 miles on it, trouble-free, really liked the engine, the transmission held up well. So when we decided to move on to the next vehicle, we sort of just naturally gravitated towards another Honda. That's why the Pilot just sort of naturally came into the picture. The trim level that we picked out was the EX-L. We like this trim level because it comes with everything that we wanted standard. Things like leather, sunroof, Apple CarPlay. We special ordered this vehicle from the factory through a dealership. We paid about $38,000 for it. At the time, it has a $1,000 factory incentive. The only optional equipment we got was the $1,300 factory installed tow package. It came with the wiring, the 2-inch hitch that's integrated into the bumper, very flush and clean, and also came with the transmission cooler. So the package will allow you to tow up to 5,000 pounds. We really like this package comparing to some of the aftermarket options that you see, like such as this one here. This type of aftermarket hitch, it hangs under the bumper and also protrude out more as well. So it kind of sort of reduce the departure angle of the vehicle if you do some more serious off-roading. So that's why we have to go with the factory options, and which I think is a good choice that we made because I do quite a bit of towing. I have a utility trailer and also a boat that I tow often, and so it's good to have that, knowing that you will have all the right equipment. And also I use a hitch bike rack a lot to transfer my bikes. So that's about the option that we have from the factory. Besides the hitch, there are other additional factory equipment that I've add onto the car later on by myself, such as this roof rail and crossbars. Because the EX-L does not come standard with them, so in order to get that, you either upgrade to Elite or Touring trim, or you can just install it yourself. It costs about $400 for the rails and $180 for the crossbars, or you can have the dealership do it for you for maybe $200 more for the labor. Just decided to do it myself. It actually is pretty easy and save you $200 for like other accessories, such as this kind of window wind deflectors. These are not Honda factories. They are just aftermarkets from WeatherTech. Works pretty well. We also added the factory running boards. I know this type of stuff will further reduce the ground clearance of the vehicle, but this is a vehicle that is mainly dedicated to some soccer mom duties. Like my wife, she's the main driver for this vehicle, just taking my daughter and all her friends to go to all kinds of school events. So this type of running board works well for the lady and the kids. I really enjoy the interior of this vehicle. It's very luxurious, yet everything is very simple. The layout is very nicely arranged. All the controls make sense. where they should be. Push button start, Apple CarPlay, the sunroof, and also the traditional 6-speed automatic shift stick, which one of the reasons that I picked the EX-L is because I'm not really sure about the 9-speed automatic, and plus the 6-speed is more proven and has the traditional shifting mechanism that I really enjoy. And later on, I will go into a little bit more details about the 6-speed automatic transmissions. That's why I like it over the 9-speed that's offered in the Elite or the Touring trim. Besides the fact that those two trims are a lot more expensive than the EX-L. Coming into the back seats, you will find plenty of leg room, shoulder rooms, head rooms for passengers. The floors are nice and flat. The seats are very supportive and comfortable. Second row seats reclines, move up and down, as expected. Let you negotiate rooms with people in the third row seat, depending on how tall, how short they are. But in a general rule of thumb, young children or small adults will have no problem fitting in the third row. I would recommend no more than 2 people sitting in there, even though it's designated for 3 passengers in the third row seats. But when you give the kids, their handheld devices, iPhone, iPad, they should be good to go for a long ride. We have done plenty of times on trips like that with my daughter and her friends, and plus the puppy. So very, very spacious areas. The cargo space is equally impressive. Power lift gates open up to a trunk that even with the third row seats up, you still find plenty of space for your cooler, your luggages, your exercise equipment, camping gears, sleeping bag, and of course, an air pump for the bikes. Comparing to most of its competitors in the same segment, the Pilot is the widest, longest, and tallest vehicle. For example, comparing to a Highlander, it's about 2 inches longer, 3 inches wider, and almost 2 inches taller. So that gives a lot of space for the interior. You can see here I have a tandem bike laid down in the car inside with actually still is wide enough to have the third row and second row seats up for 2 people to sit there. This is the amount of luggage that this car can hold with the third row seat down, and you can see it still have room for 2 more luggages. This vehicle also comes with the Honda sensing system. It has 3 main functions: the lane keep assist, the collision mitigations, and also active cruise control. The lane keep assist, basically what it does is it will sort of help you keep your car in the lane, but it wouldn't let you drive without your hands on the steering wheel. And also if you try to change lane without signaling, it will warn you. As for the collision mitigation, fortunately I have not had the opportunity to find out how it works, and I intend to keep it that way for as long as I can. As for the adaptive cruise control, sometimes it could be a little bit aggressive. Say like if you're cruising at 60 and then some car get in front of you and you slow down to 40, and when the car move out of the way, the vehicle will try to downshift really harsh and then try to make up back to 60 in a hurry. So I would suggest that you use that feature when you're out on the open freeway but not in the city highways. On the passenger side mirror, you will find a lane change camera that activates with the use of the right turn signal to let you monitor the blind spots on the passenger side. You can also activate this camera by pushing a button that's mounted on top of the turn signal bar, so that you can keep the camera on and without using the turn signal. So that leads to another complaint I have about this vehicle, is that such camera is missing on the driver's side. So I'm not sure what's Honda's rationale behind only putting this link watch camera on the passenger side. Now let's get to the good stuff. What's under the hood is the new Honda Earthdream V6 with direct injections. Pumps out about 280 horsepower and 263 pound-feet of torque, which is about 30 more horsepower and about 10 more pound-feet of torque than the previous model that it replaces, and at the same time has lost about 300 pounds in curb weight comparing to the previous generation of Pilot. So with 30 more horsepower and 300 pounds lighter, this vehicle really feels light on its feet and accelerates with ease. Honda claims 0 to 60 under 7 seconds, and I really don't doubt that at all. The V6 engine has good amount of torque right off the line and deliver good linear power. I really like how smooth the 6-speed automatic transmission behaves and shifts and deliver power throughout the power bands. As I have previously mentioned, that one of the reasons I've chose the EX-L trim over the Elite or the Touring is because I really wanted the 6-speed automatic transmission instead of 9-speed. I have test drove the 9-speed. I just felt like it's a little bit more busier. It's thinking all the time, trying to hunt for the right gear, and I just felt like down the road the 6-speed will last me longer. It's a little more, less shifting means less trouble down the road. That's kind of the way I see it. I think if you don't agree with me, or if you think otherwise, you can leave a comment and let me know. I would love to hear from you. The driving characteristic and handling of this vehicle is very typical of a Honda. It has a very sporty feel to it, and the steering is nicely weighted and quite responsive. It provides good feedback without tiring you out. The sports tuned independent suspensions handles curves and corners with minimal body rolls, given that this is a big, tall, heavy SUV. And at the same time, it soaks up bumps and ditches quite well. The suspension do feel a little bit more on the firm side, so make sure you take it for a test ride to feel it yourself. But for me, it's very comfortable and makes me feel that I'm well connected to the road. The 18-inch wheels and tires also help to bring a good balance between performance and comfort on tarmac or off-road, where I find the 20-inch low-profile tires on the Touring and Elite trims are more suited towards performance-oriented for driving on pavements. As for the Pilot's all-wheel drive system, oh boy, what can I say? I just love this all-wheel drive system. It's called the IVTM4 all-wheel drive. It's short for Intelligent Variable Torque Management System. It's basically the same system as the Acura's super handling all-wheel drive. It is an active torque vectoring system managed by electronically controlled differential that actually uses wet clutches to distribute torque to different wheels depending on the driving dynamic and the road condition. It is very, very active and robust system. Well, since I also have 2 Subaru Foresters, I would like to say that the Pilot's all-wheel drive is more robust and active than the Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, which the torque vectoring is brake actuated. So they use brake to kind of send torque to different wheels for the Foresters, and as well as in the Subarus. Well, I'm not saying that Subarus is not capable, and actually it's very good, but the Pilot's system is just simply more advanced and sophisticated. The Pilot really feel well planted in like adverse road conditions like wet, rain and snow. I haven't really experienced a time where I felt like I was losing tractions or having like tires spinning. The multi-terrain traction selection mode also gives me more options to negotiate different terrains. We drove on like the beach a lot here in Oregon and Washington to go clamming and fishing. Sometimes we went into areas where with some dry soft sands, and putting the car into sand mode lets the vehicle to actively monitor and control the throttle response and to avoid overpowering and tire spins. And also gravel and mile off-road is the type of off-roading that we go when we go camping and kind of hiking. So that's no big deal for the Pilot. The Pilot handles that really well. Although there's one thing I would like the Pilot to have is a little more ground clearance. The current ground clearance is 7.3 inches. I would like to be like somewhere above 8 inches, which is kind of what the Toyota Highlander has. But other than that, I'm quite happy with the Pilot's all-wheel drive systems. Okay, move on to the next topic, towing. This vehicle with the transmission cooler is rated to tow maximum of 5,000 pounds. I have never towed anything near that. The most I've towed is my boat. With the trailer, the boat, and the motor, it weighs only like about 900 pounds. So I also have a utility trailer that weighs only 200 pounds with a few kayaks on it. So I've never really kind of get a experience on towing something really big and heavy. So of course there's no problem there. This car tows this kind of light trailers and boats with pretty much no efforts. Going down the road, I get about typical 21 to 22 miles a gallon on the freeway, towing something in the rear. That is all I can say about towing. So that's a good segue into the next and last segment of this video, gas mileage. This vehicle gets about 21 to 22 mixed driving in town every day commuting. But on the freeway, this thing really gets good gas mileage. I'm talking about 32 mpg. So that is a stretch of highway that I was driving. I cruise it at 65 exclusively for 280 miles, and I get about 32.4. Now that is pretty amazing, given that this is a all-wheel drive with a V6 engine and 280 horsepower. We took this vehicle on a 2,500 miles road trip last summer from Oregon to Canada, visiting British Columbia and the national parks in the Canadian Rockies. Full of us with the trunk packed full of stuff, the Pilot was the perfect vehicle for the trip. With mostly highway drivings and a little bit of city traffics, cruising mostly between 65 to 70 miles per hour. For the 2,500 miles trip, our Pilot averaged 29.1 mpg, which is way above the manufacturer's mpg numbers of 20 city and 27 highway. That one speaks to the mpg is really a combination of the vehicle's performance and the individual's driving style. I would like to conclude this video by saying that yes, I do recommend this Honda Pilot to anyone that is in the market for a mid-size SUV that's family oriented with thorough seats. Make sure you also check out other options like the new Subaru Ascent and the 2020 Toyota Highlander. So give you a good comparison, and make sure you do all your homework. For us, the Pilot has been good to us for the last 2.5 years, and I do look forward to a lot more happy miles in the future. I will keep you guys updated, and until then, thanks for watching, and please check back, and if you like this channel, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.